For the reflective practitioner using John's staged model of reflection, we can consider a particular cue question, and that cue question is what factors were influencing me as a reflective practitioner. And what we need to do is use a particular framework in terms of reviewing that particular focus question, what factors were influencing me. And from an internal perspective, we can look at our own expectations about our role as a teacher. Or in other words, what duties or what sense of duty do we have as a teacher? What do we feel are our obligations as teachers? And we can also consider the particular beliefs and values that we hold and how these create expectations for ourselves as teachers, as reflective practitioners. And of course, from an internal perspective, we can also consider the particular conscience that we have in terms of the duty and the values and the beliefs that we hold about teaching. And how all these come together for us as teachers help us identify with those expectations. And from an internal perspective, we can also consider how we look at the expectations of others, perhaps colleagues, perhaps school administration. And the question for us from this internal perspective is, well, how do we look at the expectations of others? And this can be around areas perhaps of loyalty to the school or loyalty to individual students or groups of students, and particular feelings, anxieties that we have perhaps about the contrasting expectations of others and ourselves, and how we might try to reconcile these particular expectations. And from an internal perspective, we can also consider particular attitudes that we might have as teachers and how these influencing us and influencing what we do in the classroom. Some attitudes can be very positive, and some attitudes that we may have could actually be quite negative. And what we need to do is consider in balance these positive and negative attitudes and how they influence what we're actually doing. And of course, as we know, teachers are extremely busy individuals. And so, from an internal reflection point of view, we can consider particular priorities and the amount of time that we have in terms of our role. So considering this cue question, what are the internal influences on teaching? This helps the reflective practitioner give equal weight to the internal perspective of reflection as much as other focus of reflection, especially the external focus of reflection. And this is important because it's the external focus of reflection which tends to draw our attention more than the internal focus. And so by adding this reflexivity, this internal focus, means that we can avoid looking in a way which is purely just about contemplation and not so much about analysis. And this provides then the reflective practitioner with an opportunity to acquire a deep level of learning from their experience. And this is where the real value of the stage model becomes apparent.